And we are here once again, ready to take the green flag for the final time of the season in the Upperedge Racing Truck Series. Ethan Lane out on the front row for this final race here with the green flag up in the air. We are away in the final race of the Upperedge Racing Truck Series here at Homestead, Miami. You've got Steve Bonesteel and Shane Doherty up in the booth here tonight. It's going to be a good one, Shane.
Yeah, Homestead, one of my favorite tracks to watch and to drive on, but tonight we get to see these guys tackle it for the very first time in the Upperedge Truck Series for at least this season. See Ethan Lane's off to a nice comfortable lead as they come out of turn number 4 for the first time. These are very sweeping turns, you could say. Plenty of room out there to pass, and we're going to see plenty racing in those turns tonight.
And it wouldn't be a night on iRacing if there weren't some type of technical difficulties here getting started. We had a whole pre-race show planned, but couldn't connect to the server for some reason for about 10 minutes there, so we got our action started a little bit later. But we will cover everything that you need to know throughout the race, and we'll even have a little something after the race. But here we are early on. Like you said there, Shane, Ethan Lane out in the lead with Colin Bowden in that 88 right behind him. Then right behind the number 88 in third, you've got the 48 of Mark Murphy. And he's sporting the breast cancer awareness colors for October, and he's sitting there in third right now, having a solid beginning of the race. But it's early on, and I guess we could touch on the highlight story of the night, the battle between Corey Hoover and Austin Hartenfeld, Shane.
Yeah, definitely, but it's going to come down to a lot happening to Corey Hoover tonight, with Austin's unfortunates happening last week, going 5 laps down early, ultimately getting involved in a wreck later in the race, costing him quite a few amount of points. And now Corey Hoover is side by side with Austin, but as long as Corey stays right next to Austin, no matter where they finish, Corey's going to be the champion easily. So if Austin's going to win, he's going to need Corey to have some problems, and he'll have to run up front. Starting to see several lines form at this track. That's one of the cool parts of iRacing. Not many tracks have multi-grooves, but here at Homestead we're starting to see these guys work a couple different grooves. You can see Joseph Vies, he's up on the top groove. He's way back in the pack. Most of the leaders are hugging that white line almost around these turns, and this is going to be something to watch as we get later into the race.
Yeah, for sure, Shane. With that upper line being pretty effective when it comes to battling, I think we'll see some of these leaders stick up to that high side. And right there on your screen, you see Austin Hartenfeld's working on the inside of Joseph Theis, and he's having some troubles there getting around him. So I do believe that that outside line might be a little bit beneficial to retain throughout the race, and we'll see here as these tires start to get wore out how it plays into effect as the race continues.
Yeah, you're just able to keep that motor wound up on the outside just long enough where you don't lose enough ground in the center of the corner, and that's where the inside really is the best. You're starting to see that now. Joseph Theis hanging on, but it looks like Austin's going to slide up in front of him and take the spot. That would be for 5th place, and it looks like Corey Hoover, excuse me, is going to take that one as well. So Joseph Theis dropping back a little bit on the outside.
And there on your screen, you've still got Corey Hoover and Austin Hartenfeld as they move up through the field, looking to get up towards the front. You're not missing anything up there. The number 18, Ethan Lane, he is still dominantly pulling away towards the front. And we've got these 6 trucks right here who are racing neck and neck trying to get something going here. You've also got Ryan Dyson in that pack, and he's working on finding his way up through the field. And Corey Hoover's still chasing down Austin Hartenfeld's trying to get around him. And they're running pretty much identical lines, lap in and lap out. So as is, they're holding pretty steady where they are, and we'll just have to see what happens. Anything can happen here tonight, and we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Looks like we got a battle for the lead. Ethan Lane's moved up a couple lanes, and that's allowed Colin Bowden to look to the inside, but it's not going to look like he's going to make that pass because Ethan is working the outside, keeping the motor wound up, and he will continue to lead here.
Yeah, this battle for the lead is getting interesting. Just as Ethan Lane started to pull away, Colin Bowden in the 88 was able to reel him in, which also brought the 48 up into the picture. And we've got a 3-car battle here for the lead on your screen. And we'll see how this plays out. It looks like the 48's actually got the stronger truck when it comes to the comparison of both the 88 and the 18. He's just having a hard time getting around both of them. So we'll have to watch here closely. Ethan Lane, like you said, Shane, all the way up by that wall, keeping the motor wound up, and he's going to stick out front for now, but we'll see. We're only 11 laps in, and we've got plenty of racing left to go.
Yeah, he went up a lot higher than he's been running before, and he pulled a good truck length almost on Colin down the back straightaway, and he's going to go right back up there in turns 3 and 4, and looks like he stays just about the same, but yeah, he's starting to make that outside work, and that was really impressive what he did on that last lap.
And interesting enough, he moves that line back down towards the middle of the track to maybe maintain somewhat of a steady momentum in front of Colin there. So this time going through 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4, Ethan Lane in that number 18 Husky Silverado chooses to take the low line around this place. And he's still out in front. He's led every lap so far, and so far he's looking like he might be able to continue leading here. But again, it's just so early in this race, and Colin Bowden's had a tough few weeks here in the Upperedge Truck Series, and it's good to see him back up front, and I got a feeling tonight's going to be a good night for him.
Yeah, and the guy behind him, you could probably say just about the same, too. That goes for Mark Murphy. He's had an interesting last couple weeks. Hasn't been up near the front like he was in the summer stretch of the series, but I mean, he's here. Both of them are here on the final race of the season, and they're running 2nd and 3rd, so it's pretty good. And you also got to look back at 4th place, Bruce Ackerman. Here's another guy, usually runs outside the top 10 on most weeks, and he's up there in 4th comfortably, and that's a good sign for those guys.
And these 3 drivers are still continuing to pretty much pull away from the rest of the pack. They've got 1 second over Bruce Ackerman, and he's there in that 24 Designs Silverado number 22, sitting there in 4th, and he's slowly trying to start reeling in Mark Murphy, but he's not really getting anywhere. And Homestead has some major progressive banking, I could say, here. Out of all the tracks on iRacing and in real life, the banking here goes from one thing to a completely different beast up in the higher lines, and we'll hop on the gyro cam here with the number 22 and just take a look at the different angles we got here with the banking going in and out of the corner. And you can really see this battle for the lead start to heat up, so we'll bring it back up there from the gyro cam, and we'll take a look. 29 was starting to catch up with the number 22 there for a second, but now the battle for the lead, like I said, is heated up. Shane Collins on the outside now, and Colin will actually end up leading that lap, and he might even get that pass done going through 1 and 2.
Yeah, looks like he's got the better truck at the moment. Got to the outside of Ethan Lane, and he is losing a little bit of ground, and Ethan might have been able to slide up there, but he's being nice and calm and patient since it's only lap 17, and they will be side by side into turn number 3. It's interesting to see here. Colin just can't quite keep the momentum up on the outside, and Ethan's going to continue to lead here as he just completes that pass, but here comes Colin back.
And this is really allowing Mark Murphy in that 48 to stay right there in this battle. And as these guys battle really hard up front. The people behind them, like the Bruce Ackermans and the Austin Hartenfells, they will start to reel in these leaders, as you can now see them there on your screen. So we're going to have to watch pretty closely here. And, I mean, we would like to note again, Austin Hartenfells needs a big break here tonight at Homestead, Miami. He's 15 points behind his teammate Corey Hoover for the championship. And up until last week at Phoenix, he was just 2 or 3 points away. He had a horrible week last week, and that definitely put him behind in the points. And this week, he's doing everything he can to get up to the front and make up for that. Just as the pass for the lead gets completed by Colin, 18, Ethan Lane looks back up to the outside as he blinks out there for a second. And they go battling in the 3 and 4. The 88 slips up, and the 18 will look low. And again, Ethan Lane will make that pass for the lead, and just like that, Bruce Ackerman is definitely getting into the picture.
Yeah, he's really reeling these guys in as they continue to fight hard. Really hard to tell which group's better than the other right now, as Collins trying the outside. Just can't quite get the momentum, and it looks like Ethan got a little bit loose there off the corner, and that's going to allow Colin to retake back this lead. So a lot of lead switches going on here early on.
And Austin Hartenfells has a big gap over Corey Hoover, who's sitting there in 6th place. So while this is good for Austin that he's getting up to the front, he's also got to be leery and make sure that he doesn't put himself in a situation where he gets in a wreck or something along the nature of that. And he needs to have a steady night, get a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd place, and hope that something happens to Corey if he wants to have a hope of making this championship interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's just lucky Corey's not leading right now, because if Corey was, that would pretty much make it impossible, at least in this race, for Austin to make that ground up. But he's not leading, and Austin is in front of Corey, so that is that's a start. But like I said before, it's going to take a lot to happen to Corey tonight if Austin's going to be able to win this championship.
Man, as this battle for the lead continues on, we're going to take this chance to take a super quick commercial break. About halfway through this first fuel run, 22 laps into the race, Ethan Lane led the majority of the beginning until about lap 16, where Colin Bowden in the 88 took the lead, and now he is still in the lead. And again, this is race 20 of 20 for the Upperedge Racing Truck Series. The finale here at Homestead, the KontrolFreek 250 with Shane Doherty and Steve Bonesteel up in the booth for Checkered Flag Interactive. Don't go away. We'll be right back for more action in about 120 seconds. And Colin Bowden still out there in the lead. Ethan Lane starting to catch up to him once again. Just as I say that, Ethan Lane almost scrapes the wall there. And the battle for the lead that was between these 5 trucks is pretty much settled down for the majority of the time now. And looks like Colin Bowden will comfortably pull away from this pack, and he's out there in the lead, leading laps here at Homestead.
Yeah, it's definitely good for his confidence. Just not racing for anything, nothing to lose tonight for Colin. So he's out there and he's leading comfortably now. It's up to almost half a second. He's working that lower groove and pulling away from Ethan, Bruce Ackerman, Mark Murphy, and everybody else running tonight. The one car I continue to watch come into the picture is Austin Hartenfels. He's almost got this pack and he continues to run in fifth.
And I take a look now, and Corey Hoover is there in 7th place, Shane, right behind his teammate Ryan Dyson. And it does look like he is not really having a great night with his truck there. He's also looking like he's having some blinking issues there. And that's going to be interesting. We might even see a connection issue throughout the night.
Yeah, it's definitely possible with the way iRacing servers have previously been. You can just ask this series with Las Vegas having to move that race back a week, and ended up moving the championship week back a week. That was supposed to be last week, and this week was supposed to be the off week here for Upperedge, but because of that happening in Las Vegas, they had to bump it out a week. So we are here tonight wrapping up the season instead of last week.
Corey Hoover will reserve his spot for now, hanging out there right in front of Joseph Dice. So for the time being, he is safely in 7th place, but unless his truck starts to really pick up through the night, I think he's not going to have a winning truck. But he doesn't really need a winning truck, Shane, like we've already said throughout the night. As long as he finishes in a comfortable place with his truck still running, he's got the championship in his hands.
Yeah, I don't even think he needs speed. He needs 4 fenders. That's all he needs tonight, and he's so far accomplishing that.
And Colin Bowden is still stretching out a little bit of a lead there at the front of the pack over Ethan Lane. So right now Colin Bowden is definitely in a happy place out there sitting in the lead and using that Derek Spears design Silverado as his boat, basically. His boat, his transportation, whatever you want to call it. His way to float maybe up to the front and show that these guys, even though he hasn't had the best of seasons, he's definitely not a driver that was just floating around every race. He was here to make a statement at least and maybe even bring home a few wins. So we'll see how Colin Bowden does here in the number 88 throughout the night. But right now, he's leading the race.
Leading the race and pulling away these last couple laps, he's been flying. And a combination of the battle for second continuing, as they're almost 3 wide back there for second. Colin is pulling away, and I would not be surprised if this lead gets up to a second here before long.
And it's just so fun to watch all of the different grooves here at Homestead, Miami. Oh man, one point, you know, you got 2, 3 wide, and then the next corner, the same guy that was stuck on the outside, he can make his way down to the inside, and Ethan Lane is dropping off the track maybe early pit stops. We'll just have to see. Pit stops should be starting to take place in about 4 laps, maybe 5. But Ethan Lane is coming in early on here, and we'll see how this goes for him.
Yeah, this race is 133 laps tonight, and we are currently on lap 37, so we're underneath now. 100 laps to go, within the 90s. And we continue to watch Colin Bowden lead. He just went by the lap truck of Brad Pummel. But yeah, it's an interesting call for Ethan Lane. It's a little bit earlier right now. These guys could probably go at least 10 more laps on fuel, but I guess he decided that it was time to come, and he is still on pit road getting his 4 tires.
And you can hear there on your screen as he is coming off of pit road. The leaders will be swinging on by any moment now. And so he will probably be going a lap down here. And early on this pit stop, so I'm not really sure what his strategy is. I think he's about 2 to 3 laps early on it. There on your screen, he almost pulls up in front of those lap down trucks. And we'll just have to see how Ethan Lane manages with new tires when all the other drivers around him are on older tires. It doesn't look like it'll be much of a problem at all as he just flies under Mike Tellier, and then he's just going to clear him and head right out in front of him, and he's got pretty much an open space of track in front of him for quite some time. So pit stops are starting to take place as Corey Hoover, championship leader right now, is on pit road. And he's on pit road getting 4 fresh Goodyears, we can presume, and we'll see how he comes up. A black flag or anything would be completely bad for him, so he's got to make sure he's being careful with the pit road speeds. I really don't think he'll have a problem with it, but we'll see here as he comes back out. We'll see where he ends up in line.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of guys starting to make their green flag pit stops just about 40 laps in. No cautions, so just about 40 laps. You could say these guys can go on fuel. Some could probably go longer. I guess these guys just deciding now, the guys who are just pitting, that tires are definitely more important right now than running the tank dry. And I don't know about Colin Bowden, but he is out there out front. He might just come in the latest he possibly can.
And Shane, while we have the chance, we could talk about just how awesome this season really has been for the Upperedge Truck Series. We've had a really great season of racing. While some races definitely did have their abundance of cautions, it's just been so fun to see these drivers develop, because most of them, this is their first season. And for them, this is a new thing for them, and they're racing really... I mean, it's just so great to see these guys get out here, because this series has come a long ways. Most series, when they start out, they don't, do nearly as well as the Upperedge Racing Truck Series has been doing, and they've now got a super late model series. So we come here and we look at these guys race, and it's really a show each and every week.
Yeah, it really is. You go back to Daytona and you come all the way here to Homestead. This series really has changed, and it's changed for the better. I think you could say we're getting bigger field counts now consistently. We're getting about 15, 20 drivers, 20 easily now, as we had 19 show up tonight. That creates for good racing, but the amount of green flag racing we've seen in the second half of the season, I know somewhere in June and probably a little bit in July, we had a couple of races that did take quite a lot of time. The one race that I remember was Kentucky. As long as that race took, we still had a fantastic finish. So the cautions really haven't hurt the series all that badly. But these last couple weeks have been fantastic. We've seen a lot of green flag runs, and we're seeing one right now open up the race. And it's really showing the skill level that these guys got. Usually, when you have green flag, you get those guys who can win a championship to the front. And these guys are certainly rising to the occasion tonight.